Hi all, Colin here. So I've been learning permaculture for a while, and I don't hold a certification of any kind, not from any organization. I went to Penn State for environmental studies in English. I've been doing biofilm reactor research now for about nine to 10 years, and those who've been watching some of the things that we do are pretty cool. Those people and the things we're doing, I'd like to say. But one of the places that you get a chance to learn, of course, is on a farm. You gotta learn by doing, best way. So I am out here at Underhill Farm. Churchill and Stoel are the owners, two good friends of mine. That's Chuckles, Charlie, Little Bear. Watch, yeah, now he's gonna have to go poo. Of course, good timing. But this is a farm that's been in Fred's family since the 1860s. I'm gonna restart that. Hi all, Colin here at Underhill Farms. Leicester Longwools and Angora goats. The fellas are on the trail right now, and they have me come on in and watch the farm, which is one of the best jobs I've ever had in my life. Just throwing that in there. And I was thinking here just a couple minutes ago, what is a farm like with no electricity? Well, this is it. This has been in Fred's family for the last, like 140 years. And I can't remember exactly the date, but we're talking about 1860s. That's a little before the invention of electricity, or at least even the useful harnessing of it. So you had to be good at picking a landscape to have a successful farm. Now, of course, what you see is corn. Lots and lots of corn. And they then bale these fields here, I'm assuming for cattle and other ungulates. But wanted to go through a couple of the things then as far as permaculture goes that this farm does right just by rote. It's had enough time, and generations and generations even before this place had been built, farming techniques, because that's, we're talking 150 years ago. Everybody was farmers. You had to take care of your own sustenance. So knowing how to build a landform, take advantage of a landform. And really the basic things that you need are, this is interesting because you can actually see the entire watershed here of this one farm. Hill goes back up over here and kind of cuts down and over. Drops down. Great for walks, day or night. To a collection point where they've got a well. Now, of course, it's about 4 p.m., 4:30 or so. Sun's going, west is off that direction. And then meaning that we're looking south. Oh, this is an enormous anticline, by the way. We're kind of looks like the prow of a ship from space, or on good topographicals. We're in central Pennsylvania, just outside of Hollidaysburg. I'll kind of slowly pass on over to here. So Hollidaysburg is back over in that direction. It's the Alleghenies. That's Wapsononic off in the distance there. And I'm in West Loop. And there's one road that runs all the way around this great valley, and I've walked up to the top there. And over. Roaring Spring is just on the other side. And then if you follow this mountain along the ridge there, it goes right past Canoe Creek. Because they all connect. They're pretty rare landforms. But what they do here is they just make, oh my goodness, some of the best agricultural land in the world. As long as you don't strip everything bare. That's all state game lands there on the mountain, from the bottom of the mountain pretty much all the way up and over to the other side. But as far as talking north and south directions, it's not just, okay, you got water, great, what do you grow? Where do you grow it? Why do you grow it? When do you grow it? Dad was the botanist, and I'm really not the agricultural type. I'm not the guy to throw in a garden. That's not really my specialty when it comes to permaculture. But just wanted to point out some of the things that they've done here. One of those is that they've got their, I think it's blue spruce, or not blue spruce, but a spruce of some kind on the north-facing side. And then any deciduous trees they would have are on the south-facing side. The reason you do that is because you get that cover, you get that evapotranspiration during the summer. But during the winter, with the trees on the south-facing side that are deciduous, they drop their leaves, so you get more heat energy throughout the summer, and then cooling during the summer. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pop on down below, point out some other things. Okay, came down the hill to the bees. Pollinators. A great many of the annuals and even the perennials that grow here. The for beauty gardens and the practical gardens need bees and other insects. You get honey. Doesn't take electricity. I am not into I think it's called topiary. Work a whole heck of a lot, but of course there's appreciation, and anytime you ever have find a natural bee's nest, please just leave it alone. And unless it's somebody's in danger, or if you've got an allergy, totally get that. But otherwise, leave it alone or promote them. There's some really neat bee boxes that are available. Okay, and of course Charlie's still hanging out. Kind of continue the tour. Okay, and some of those are the rams. And I was being slightly disingenuous when I said how to do it without electricity. This farm has electricity now, of course. You can hear a motorcycle getting ready to go by on the road there. But when it started, it didn't. It's again another decent shot of the spruce that they've got out back. Charlie. And then there is a small rill that runs when it rains pretty heavy. So, and of course during the spring, you'll have a consistent little stream going through here. And they've got their spring house, then, which is a collection point where water consistently comes out and taps into that little spring. And they've got a buried pipe made out of probably just steel. Runs all the time, runs clean. That's the well house there. You can see looking up the hill, up the vale there. They've got 40, and it's touching hundreds more. So, I don't know, maybe let's just throw out 80 acres of catchment basin. Since a lot of that is corn-based, not really deep-rooted trees. Depending on the time of year and depending on how deep the water table it is determines whether it's running. And it's not right now, which is a shame, because of course, it's also September. So, it's a warm September. The Rams, Leicester Longwools, just hanging out, trying to stay cool. We can go over and check the water here in a couple minutes. It rained like hell last night. That's why Andy, actually on and off most of the day, get a lot more intermittent storms. Normally we've got some water ponded up in here, nothing right now. The guys had just gotten some assistance through an EQIP grant that paid for a portion of the new fencing. And they already had this fence in, but the new fencing is helping regrow what's called a riparian buffer zone. So if you look up, you can see pretty much, trees going all the way up along in the middle of the divide. The defile. And then coming down through here, just grassy. Now there's limited erosion here, but you can still see sediment gathering here, and it's, someday it might be worth going in and digging that really good really good material out. The ducks love it. And then to limit, reduce, and slowly reverse the negative impacts of erosion, a riparian buffer zone, that's the trees along the stream, is recovered. And if you can get yourself about 5, 10, 15 feet, depending on the flow, you do a lot to make sure you don't lose your soil. Like for instance, right there, that's another seep coming out. That's the chicken coop right there. And the sheep, and there's some goats here too somewhere. They're hanging out. We're getting in and around there and tromping that down and throwing in more sediment going downstream. And like this is just the chickens. So that is technically now a little wetlands, which has to be protected. Otherwise you keep losing your soil and it keeps eating away at the bank behind it. You can see that it's actually got the steepest angle compared to the rest of the field. And that's because that was constantly getting stomped around in. It would get washed away over time. But, it would have looked more like this. More even, more straight. So, riparian buffer zones, there's the damage that can happen, creating slump. Critters in the shade. Of course, the chicken coop. Okay, I'm going to pop and check water.